Hi everyone, welcome back. This is the sixth training video about scientific reading with me, Hatice Bilgiçlim. Let's get going. In this video, we will get started with the second training section, which is about additional tips and tricks to improve your scientific reading process. Once you feel comfortable with the process and you decide to bring your reading competence to even a higher level, there are some additional steps that you can take. Now, we will take a look at those additional tips and tricks to bring your reading skills onto the next level. First, we will look at 5 scientific reading mistakes to avoid. The first one on the list is waiting for perfect time to read. There is never a perfect time to read. You've probably figured that already. This is a fact of our fast-paced lifestyle these days. Unless you are very planful, it's really hard to get your reading done without creating extra demand on your schedule or extra stress on yourself. It is essential to schedule reading time whenever it fits your life, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour. It's better to utilize those shorter but readily available periods and make it as efficient as possible on an ongoing basis than waiting for a long block of time to come, because that time may never come. The second mistake to avoid is getting overwhelmed and lost in details. Scientific publications include a lot of details, a lot of specific terminology, and perhaps a lot of new concepts for first or second year graduate students. You probably will not be familiar with all of the terms or all of the methods in the article. Keep in mind, you are a learner, and learning lasts lifelong for all of us. It's crucial to focus on getting the main findings from the paper and move on. You don't need to understand every detail to get the benefit out of the article. Considering all the time constraints you have and the huge reading load, it's wise practicing to understand the major points, note those down, and move on. Like everything else, reading effectively takes practice. The more you do it, the better you become. If you do this over and over again with determination to get better at it, you will get better at it. There is no question about that. And I would encourage every one of you to practice every chance you get. Take the time, be intentional about improving your skills, and you will start reading quickly and more effectively. I am strongly encouraging that because the fruits of this labor will serve you very, very well, not only in graduate school, but your entire professional life. And I am a living example of that. Another important aspect is to avoid a situation where you don't have support or accountability. If you're experiencing challenges, ask for help and support. There are resources available to you through your school, such as this training, and any other resources your university or your advisor may be presenting to you. Please make a point to use those resources. They will only help you. Even though scientific reading is a lonely process, it helps a lot to be supported by others. If you are in a peer group through your academic support centers, supervisors, or a coach like myself in a training series like this, you can leverage the experience and wisdom from others to overcome any challenges a lot faster than on your own. Part of this support is also important because it brings accountability. Most of the time, when there is no immediate consequences, scientific reading can be put in the back burner until the last minute. I know this from experience. Then it becomes a very stressful and very labor-intense effort to finish the reading requirements and come up with a report or pass your exams. The better way is doing a little on an ongoing basis and finding a way to keep yourself accountable to this. Having the support from someone else other than yourself can be very helpful resource for this. So I would say ask for help and look for support when you can. All right, next, I have some tips and suggestions for multilingual readers. In STEM fields, myself included, there are a lot of multilingual readers who can read in English perfectly fine, understand the words or the topic. However, when it comes to communicating what was read to the others, that may not be always easy because there are language differences and cultural differences, and they can come into play. These tips are designed to support the multilingual reader in their journey to be effective scientific readers and communicators. Okay, the first tip is to keep progress over perfection. We discussed this earlier. The most important thing is to continue progressing, taking little baby steps and putting yourself one step ahead on a continuous basis. There is no perfection. Nobody is perfect. Even the authors who publish hundreds of articles, even professors who have been reading and writing for decades, they are not perfect. It's a matter of continuous learning and improvement and having that growth mindset. It applies to everything and everybody, but especially to scientific reading. The second important aspect is to start simple and small and build it over time. At the beginning of the graduate school, for example, it may be very intimidating to have a 10-page scientific article in front of you, which you are expected to understand, summarize, and then discuss. However, if you start with small goals and continue to consistently work on them, at the end, the reward is to be able to evaluate and speak a whole article without even needing to know every single term. In addition, doing this on a continuous basis will let you build off of the previous papers you read and allow you to start establishing connections between papers. By doing this, you will build your proficiency with each paper you read, and this will bring you a lot of confidence. And not only for yourself in your own reading ability, but also with your peers, your supervisors, and professors, because you will be able to share your understanding a lot more effectively. The third tip is about not focusing on every single new word. Instead, focusing on the main idea. Most of the time, the benefit from getting a new word learned is not big enough to compensate for the time you will be investing to look it up. Once you read the entire article, if it becomes clear that you didn't get the main idea because there were too many foreign words, then you can go ahead and look up several of those. However, if you read the whole article and you understood everything you set out to understand, then you don't have to understand every single word. That will be the time you save from the process, and any time that you can save is amazing. Same approach applies if you come to a confusing part that you don't really understand. It may be a new method or a new concept for you. When this happens, usually the initial reaction is fear. Very often, when we come into a section like that, we freeze, we panic, we feel unconfident. In that kind of mood, it's very hard to focus and open our minds to learn. We just feel stuck. Therefore, the best thing to do in such a situation is to skip that section. Read the rest of the article and see, can you grasp the main idea without understanding that confusing section? If reading the rest of the article is sufficient for your purpose, you may find unnecessary to go to that demanding part again. If after reading the entire article, you still feel like you need to go back and understand that section, this will be the time to do that. Now you have the background and a lot more information that can help you understand better compared to the first time you came across that section. Doing this way can easily translate to time and effort savings for you. Lastly, please use your own words to summarize your learnings. This is essential. It mobilizes your mental power to digest what you learn in the most effective way. So please pay special attention to this, and you will be on your way to be an effective reader and communicator. These tips will help you digest the required readings and then generate your own ideas based on readings. This ability will support you to participate in graduate class discussions successfully, write academic papers and dissertations, and manage graduate school workload and family time more effectively. All right, if we were to summarize what we have talked about so far, here is the path to success for scientific reading. First of all, follow the process and focus on simple and small steps. Always take persistence over perfection. When you need, ask for help and support. Remember, once you learn the process, it's easier, faster, and less stressful to complete your scientific readings. This brings us to completion of additional tips and tricks and end of the 6th video. This is work well done. In the next and last video, we will look into ways you can use the outcomes from your reading. See you in the next one.